the psychology shadow, where the hidden parts of your mind come into the light. What you're about to hear might change the way you see yourself and everyone around you.
There's something happening in your mind right now that you're not fully aware of. And it's been shaping your choices, your reactions, and the people you're drawn to probably for most of your life. Most people live their entire lives without noticing this quiet pattern running underneath everything. You've likely felt a pull towards certain stories or movies where someone sets out on a journey, faces challenges, and comes back changed. It's as if these tales resonate with something deep inside you, even when you can't explain why. There's a name for this, a very old one, and what you're about to learn might change how you look at yourself and at other people for the rest of your life. Why do certain stories feel like they're telling your own story in ways that surprise and move you? It's because these stories reflect an ancient archetype that exists within us all, the hero's journey. This pattern, studied by Joseph Campbell and Carl Jung, is woven into the fabric of human experience, transcending time and culture. It speaks to our deepest desires for transformation and growth. Imagine you're driving down a familiar road when suddenly, without warning, a stranger pulls up beside you with a cryptic message. "Follow me, would you?" What if that road leads not just to an adventure, but also to your true self? This is the essence of the hero's journey. It's about embracing the call to adventure and stepping into unknown territory. Think about moments in your life when you felt compelled to take a risk, to step out of your comfort zone. These could be as dramatic as quitting a job or moving to a new city, or as subtle as speaking up for someone who needed help. Each time, something inside nudges you forward, urging you to face your challenges head-on. Why is it that we resonate so deeply with the hero's journey? What part of us craves this path and recognizes its power in our lives? Consider another example. You've just finished a presentation at work when your mind starts replaying all the mistakes you made. But then, instead of dwelling on the negatives, something shifts inside you. A sense of determination takes hold, fueling the idea to tackle this fear head-on. These moments are more than just random occurrences. They're signals from within us, guiding our path forward. They remind us that there's a deeper part of ourselves always seeking growth and transformation. Think about the last time you felt inexplicably drawn to a place that held special memories, maybe an old high school or childhood home. As soon as you step through those doors, you're flooded with sensations and emotions from days gone by. Why do we feel this pull? Is it just nostalgia for better times or something deeper? Perhaps it's a reminder that inside each of us is a timeline of unresolved stories waiting to be reclaimed. We carry these tales like weights in our pockets, dragging us down without us even realizing it. Yet sometimes all it takes is one memory, just one, to unlock the door and let those old narratives come back into focus. Consider a friend who's always pushing themselves beyond their comfort zone, taking on challenges that scare them silly. What drives this kind of behavior? Is it simply adrenaline or something more profound? It could be that deep down, we all know when our current path isn't leading us anywhere meaningful anymore. This inner tug-of-war between comfort and growth is a constant battle. We crave stability, but yearn for transformation. It's like being caught in the eye of a storm, safe but utterly still while chaos swirls around us. The hero within pushes back against this stasis, reminding us that change isn't just inevitable, it's essential. But why do we often resist these calls to action? Why is it so hard to take that first step towards something unknown and potentially scary? Perhaps because deep down, we know the journey will be painful, but also incredibly rewarding. We're afraid of what lies ahead, not just for our comfort's sake, but because true growth requires facing parts of ourselves that may not be pretty or easy to look at. The hero's path isn't about being fearless. It's about being brave enough to face fear and keep moving forward despite it. It's about recognizing when the status quo no longer serves us and having the courage to break free from old patterns, even if doing so means navigating uncharted territory. When we embrace this journey, we start to see how every challenge is a chance for transformation. Each obstacle encountered along the way becomes another thread in our evolving tapestry of self-discovery. But what if you're feeling lost or stuck? What then? How do you listen to that inner compass when everything feels directionless? Maybe it starts with simply acknowledging the yearning, recognizing that there's a part of us craving something more, even if we can't quite put our finger on what that is yet. It's about checking in with ourselves regularly and asking, what am I running from? What are my fears whispering to me? And it could be as simple as taking small steps towards curiosity, maybe trying a new hobby or reaching out to someone who challenges you intellectually. These tiny actions can begin to shift our perspective, nudging us gradually but surely towards the path we're meant to walk. Why do these emotions remain concealed until such a breaking point? The answer lies in how our psyche compartmentalizes conflicting aspects of ourselves as a protective mechanism. By separating out uncomfortable or threatening thoughts and behaviors into what Jung referred to as complexes, we preserve a sense of inner harmony and stability. But this separation comes at the cost of awareness and self-understanding. Picture a skilled actor who seamlessly transforms their identity to fit any character they portray on stage or screen. Similarly, the shadow adapts its role within us, blending in so naturally that we hardly notice its presence until it plays a crucial part. Consider an employee who works diligently and often goes above and beyond at their job. On the surface, they appear to be hardworking and dedicated, traits that are celebrated by colleagues and superiors alike. However, beneath this veneer lies a complex interplay of feelings and motivations. When someone like this employee experiences a sudden surge of anger after receiving critical feedback or witnessing another colleague getting preferential treatment, their shadow is revealed. This momentary eruption brings to the surface long-suppressed frustrations and unresolved conflicts that had previously remained hidden. Why do these emotions remain concealed until such a breaking point? The answer lies in how our psyche compartmentalizes conflicting aspects of ourselves as a protective mechanism. By separating out uncomfortable or threatening thoughts and behaviors into what Jung referred to as complexes, we preserve a sense of inner harmony and stability. But this separation comes at the cost of awareness and self-understanding. Repetition compulsion isn't about reliving trauma. It's the psyche's attempt to heal from past hurts by revisiting them until they're fully addressed. Why does repetition compulsion occur? Because unresolved issues won't stay buried forever. Have you ever felt like you were repeating the same mistakes or facing similar challenges despite conscious efforts to avoid them? One final mechanism worth noting is somatic signals, the way our bodies communicate what our minds deny. When you notice physical discomfort arising in specific situations, like headaches before meetings or tightness in your chest around certain people, it's likely that your body is signaling emotional or psychological stress. These signals are not random. They're direct messages from your psyche about unresolved issues. So, how do you recognize these somatic signals in yourself this week? By paying close attention to physical sensations and linking them to emotional triggers can start unraveling hidden messages. Once you start seeing these mechanisms at work in your life, they become hard to ignore. You'll begin to notice patterns and triggers that were previously invisible. And that's when the real work begins. Understanding these dynamics is just the first step toward integrating our full selves. The real work begins when you start connecting these dots, recognizing how these mechanisms play out in your daily life and relationships. It's like uncovering layers of an onion, each peel revealing something deeper about yourself. For instance, have you ever found yourself repeatedly attracted to people who challenge your core beliefs or push your buttons? This isn't random. It's a manifestation of unresolved inner conflicts that need attention. Why do these patterns persist despite our best intentions to change them? It's not because we lack willpower or determination, but rather because deep-rooted psychological issues require more than superficial solutions. They demand introspection and a willingness to face what we'd rather keep hidden. To truly heal, you must engage with the discomfort and pain that lies beneath these patterns, acknowledging it as part of your journey towards wholeness. Another layer of complexity arises when we consider how these mechanisms intertwine with our collective unconscious, a term coined by Carl Jung to describe the shared psychological heritage passed down through generations. This collective unconscious contains archetypes, universal symbols or tropes that resonate across cultures and times, influencing our behavior unconsciously. For example, the archetype of the hero can manifest in your life as a calling to overcome personal obstacles and challenges, symbolizing growth and transformation. Recognizing these archetypal patterns within yourself can provide insight into why certain dynamics feel inevitable yet necessary for development. Now imagine standing at the edge of a vast ocean. The waves represent the constant flow of emotions and thoughts that wash over you daily. Each wave carries stories from your past, present struggles, and future aspirations. By observing these waves without judgment, you start to understand their rhythm and significance in your life journey. How can we begin to integrate these disparate parts of ourselves? The process starts with curiosity, asking yourself questions that lead you deeper into understanding consider your family dynamics, particularly those rooted in your past and present familial relationships. Think about moments when an interaction with your parents triggers unexpected reactions, revealing aspects of yourself that have been buried under layers of defense mechanisms. Maybe it's a comment from them that unexpectedly stirs up long-buried emotions or compels you to act out patterns from your childhood. Or perhaps there are parenting practices you vowed never to replicate, only to find yourself repeating them unconsciously as your own children grow older. These moments, though painful and confusing, serve as crucial junctures for examining the deeper roots of our behaviors and beliefs. The shadow here reveals itself through these family dynamics, often in ways that challenge our sense of self-worth or identity. Who carries the quality you can't let yourself have within your familial relationships? Acknowledging this dynamic is the first step towards healing and transformation. In the realm of personal development, the internal critic plays a significant role. Imagine walking into a room full of people achieving their dreams and finding yourself quietly resenting their success stories rather than feeling inspired or supportive. This voice inside your head, often sounding like a parent, teacher, or mentor from your past, can be relentless in its criticism. A common misinterpretation is that the solution lies in eliminating these negative traits entirely. It isn't about getting rid of them. It's about meeting and integrating them into your whole self. The same applies when certain compliments leave you feeling hollow or unearned. They reflect parts of yourself still waiting to be embraced rather than discarded. Reflect on who this inner critic is really emulating, someone from your past, a figure that once held power over you. Recognizing these influences can help you understand the source and begin to dismantle them, allowing for a more compassionate relationship with oneself. Who in your life right now carries the quality you won't let yourself have? Seeing it is the first step. Living differently because of it is everything that comes after. So where do you actually begin? The journey inward begins when you acknowledge that everything around you is a reflection of yourself, whether it's comforting or disconcerting. It starts with the realization that every person who challenges you, bosses, colleagues, family members, is there to teach you something about your own shadow self. But how do we start unraveling these complex layers? Consider this. When someone triggers you so intensely that your emotional response is disproportionate to their actions, it's a clear sign they're carrying a part of yourself that needs attention. For instance, imagine meeting an old friend who embodies a trait you admire yet feel incapable of expressing, perhaps unbridled creativity or fearless confidence. Their mere presence might make you defensive, dismissive, or even jealous. Why? Because these traits remind you of parts of your identity that are still hidden behind the veil of fear and self-doubt. Let's take it a step further. When we encounter someone who embodies qualities we desire but feel unworthy to claim, our initial reaction is often to attack them rather than ourselves. We might criticize their methods or mock their efforts, but beneath this veneer lies a deeper issue, the refusal to accept and nurture those same traits within us. It's like standing in front of a mirror that shows you the person you want to be, but feel unable to become. The challenge isn't just about seeing these qualities, it's about accepting them as your own. Now consider another layer. What if someone close to you constantly brings up past mistakes or failures? This work is slow, and can feel uncomfortable at times. It's okay if you forget about this video soon after watching it. Life has a way of reminding us when we're ready to see situations differently. Remember, you don't have to do this alone. Reach out for support from friends, therapists, or even quiet moments in solitude. As you move through these steps, picture the morning light filtering through your window on a day where silence prevails over chaos within you. Imagine a conversation with someone close, where words flow gently instead of clashing painfully. Notice how patterns play out differently now, mid-action rather than just after everything has settled into place. In this quiet space of reflection and growth, we find the hero's journey isn't about reaching some distant peak, but finding peace in every step forward. You are here, listening to your inner voice, embracing your story, and becoming stronger through it all. Imagine a day where you wake up feeling unusually calm and centered. As you sit quietly with your morning coffee or tea, you notice that the usual clutter of thoughts has been replaced by a sense of clarity and purpose. This moment isn't about eradicating doubt or fear. Rather, it's an invitation to observe these feelings from a place of compassion and understanding. When we learn to meet ourselves in such quiet moments, we start dismantling our conditioned responses to external triggers. We also gain access to hidden reserves of strength and wisdom. Think about it. What if the very things you most want to escape are actually invitations to grow? What if your deepest fears are not obstacles, but gateways to transformation? This perspective challenges us to view our struggles not as roadblocks, but as signposts pointing towards growth. The concept of the hero's journey isn't just a modern psychological insight. It draws from ancient wisdom found in myths and legends across cultures. In Greek mythology, for instance, heroes like Odysseus or Heracles face seemingly insurmountable tasks. Each battle they face teaches them about their own strengths and weaknesses. Each labor forces him into confrontation with his deepest fears and desires. Similarly, when we look inward in our personal journeys, every obstacle we encounter can be seen as an opportunity for self-discovery. Consider the everyday challenge of dealing with conflict at work. Many of us might avoid confrontation or try to suppress our feelings out of fear of rocking the boat. But what if we viewed this discomfort not just as a problem, but as a message from our inner hero? By embracing the courage to speak up and address issues head-on, even in small increments like sharing constructive feedback anonymously at first, we begin to peel back layers of unresolved conflict within ourselves. This isn't about becoming confrontational. It's about fostering healthier communication and resolving internal tension. Imagine walking through a dense forest with thick underbrush that constantly blocks your path. The struggle to clear the way forward can be exhausting, but it also teaches you resilience and patience. When we face our own emotional thickets, like persistent anxieties or unprocessed grief, we develop a similar kind of inner fortitude.
If something in this video stirred something in you, that's worth paying attention to. The Psychology Shadow explores one idea at a time, slowly and carefully. Subscribe if you want to keep looking. And if this made you think, drop it in the comments. I read every one.